This is Chris McDonald. I'm coming to you again from just a little bit north of Charlotte, North Carolina. And what we're doing today is our third class on Instagram. This one's going to be about Instagram and your business. So, should you be using Instagram? There's so many different platforms that are out there. There's no way that someone is able to do all of the platforms. What you're going to have to do is definitely decide where your ideal customer is. And based on that, if your ideal customer is going to be on Instagram, then that's something that you definitely want to be interested in. What I like to recommend is that people use no more than 2, maybe 3 different social media platforms for their business. The reason is, with the day-to-day work of handling your business and talking to your customers and dealing with your customers, that's going to mean that you're busy doing other things. You can't spend all day on social media. Even developing a content strategy and having a calendar to use to make sure that you're doing everything efficiently, that still doesn't mean that you can handle all of the different social media platforms. So, are you still unsure? There's definite advantages to Instagram. If Instagram is something that you know that your ideal customer is going to be on, and you're still not sure if this is something that you want to do because there's others, let me go ahead and give you a few of the advantages of Instagram. We all know that we want our customers to know, like, and trust us. Instagram is going to give your brand a personality. Instead of being that face, you'll be that face behind the brand. Instead of just being, let's say, Jane that does social media, you're also Jane that shares your trips to the beach and pictures of the adorable grandkids. So you're no longer just another, let's say, social media manager. You've got a personality and people know a little bit more about you. It's also a great way to reach the millennial market. 43% of the 18 to 29 cell users use Instagram. So Instagram is going to tie great for teens. There's also, of course, like we said before, less competition on Instagram than there are on the other social media platforms. You can track your conversations by using those hashtags. And with Instagram, it's definitely about those connections. What type of businesses does Instagram work best on? Well, it's going to be great for retailers, restaurants, travel companies, of course, because you can put on all of those great photos. But Instagram is increasingly important for every kind of business. And it's great for small businesses. The small businesses are showing absolutely great success using Instagram. Instagram is now a hub where regular people find and judge the visual awareness of a brand and their business. Without a strong Instagram presence, companies could risk being forgotten or ignored by the next generation of consumers. Among teens, Instagram is considered the single most important social network. There's a lot of social media engagement whenever you're using Instagram, which is definitely one of the benefits. It's higher on Instagram. The engagement is higher on Instagram than it is on Facebook or Twitter. Forrester, a research company, has named Instagram the king of social engagement, citing that the top brands' Instagram posts generated a per-follower engagement of 4.21%. Now, what does that mean to you? That means that Instagram gave these brands 58 times more engagement per follower than Facebook and 120 times more engagement per follower than Twitter. Now, I encouraged you in the past couple weeks to go ahead and work on creating your social content strategy. And if this was something that you haven't gotten to or something that you haven't worked on, you can look on this website and you'll see some information there listed in the headlines of different things. It tells you a part 1 and a part 2. So you can go ahead and start working on creating that actual strategy. But your strategy with Instagram will be a little bit different. Even though it's going to mirror your social media marketing plan that you have with the other platforms, you're still going to need business goals that are specific for Instagram. Albert Einstein said, if you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. I love meeting goals, and I love meeting goals on social media. So if you're a goal-oriented type person, this is something that you're definitely going to enjoy, because Instagram is going to give you the kind of success that you want to see fairly quickly, because it's not as competitive as the other markets. Your goals might include things like increased product sales. It might include increased traffic to your website or increased branded hashtag mentions. So you can have different goals, but you're going to need to include those types of goals in what it is that you're aiming for. You want to make sure that those goals are going to be achievable and measurable. You don't want to treat Instagram like it's Facebook or Twitter. Each social media platform lends themselves to certain goals. Instagram's power is going to be in visuals, so you want to make sure that the goals that you set are going to reflect that. Now, here we're talking about different types of decisions and what it is that you need to determine. I want to emphasize again that part 2 of creating your personalized social media strategy talks about creating a calendar and putting that kind of information on a content calendar. But you want to decide how often to post and what time of day to post. Establish that content calendar. Choose your content themes, and don't bombard your followers with too many posts. The average is about 2.4, so you want to go between 1 to 3 posts a day. If you have that calendar established, you'll know what it is that you've been posting, and you'll have a better idea when you look at the different metrics to know what it is that is pleasing to your followers. One of the big keys that you're going to want to do is test, and test some more. The time of day is going to depend on your audience. What time is your ideal customer on social media? The best time, according to research, says the people are on Instagram more in the evening. But maybe your ideal customer is a housewife and has children, and so she's on social media, looking at social media while those kids are in school, or maybe while she's taking them to soccer practice. So you're going to have to test it and see what works best for you and your customer. Test your intervals, test the times for postings, and then use those insights to change and adjust that calendar. Now, Hootsuite does have an integration that's going to allow you to schedule those posts. It's an absolutely wonderful integration. However, Instagram is a mobile platform, and so therefore you will still have to go to your Instagram account, approve those posts whenever you receive the notification so that they can appear on your account. They will not automatically appear on your account. You will receive a notification to your phone. However, that can still save a lot of time. You want to make sure that you're working on branding. If you haven't gone through the classes on my Facebook training, Class 2 and Handout 2 go over a lot of branding information. Visuals is what Instagram is all about, and so therefore the colors, the fonts, and the themes, like I said, are covered in that Facebook training. If you haven't determined what that is that you want to use for your brand, now might be a good time. You want to be cohesive. If somebody goes to your Twitter account and then to Instagram and then to Facebook, you want them to immediately know that that's your brand and to be able to recognize it. And you're able to do that by using branding. When you brand on Instagram, one of the easiest ways to brand yourself is by choosing a filter or a set of filters that you use for the majority, if not all, of your photos. By using the same type of filters over and over again, you'll establish a style that's recognizable. Instagrammer users scroll, and not necessarily slowly. That finger just scrolls down that list. But what you want them to do is to stop scrolling and then engage in some way. In order to do that, you have to be recognizable and be a brand that they want to take the time to stop and see. Take a look at the color palette that 33 Acres Brewing Company used. Notice that most of their colors on here gear more towards the white or the light colors. We see some yellow here, and we see some yellow here, and we see some yellow here. If I was scrolling through my news feed, I would probably recognize that particular brand. That's the kind of recognition that you want for your brand. Visually, you want to decide on those content of your photos. Some of them are really obvious. For example, if you sell clothes or a clothing line, you want pictures of people in that clothing doing something that looks exciting or fun to make people start scrolling. If you're a restaurant, you're going to be showing pictures of food. You can shoot pictures of your staff, your office, the dog, family photos. You can create your own posts. You can create great images and write on them, conforming to those Instagram sizes. These are all things that you're going to be able to do based on what you want to do for your particular brand. You can share your goods, share your services, share those things that you're skillful at, and most importantly, share your personality. People want to know the person behind the brand. Still not sure how to represent your company? Look at what other leaders in your niche are doing. Go on Instagram, look up those leaders, and see what they're posting. More importantly, what are their followers liking and engaging with? So don't just look at those pictures, see what kind of engagement they're getting. And what is it that they're liking? Look at those hearts, see how many hearts they got. If you already have followers, take a look at their profiles and their photos. Maybe the majority have a passion for, let's say, Coke or coffee. Use that knowledge. If you know that the majority of your followers like coffee, then post some posts about that. Use that knowledge. What's going to happen is they're going to see that post about something that they like, and they're going to stop. They're going to like it, giving you an opportunity to engage with them. Another idea is to share your followers' photos. Of course, you want to make sure that you give them full credit for it. This is called user-generated content. Sharpie, the marker people, use user-generated content along with their own, making their page look a little less obtrusive and salesy. Take a look at the Sharpie profile. Here we see their markers, but these are pictures that people that follow their page have done, and they have used that user-generated content. So that's an idea that you could do for your business. An important thing to remember when you're working on your brand is going to be the branded hashtag. This does not mean using your company name as a hashtag. This is finding a hashtag that embodies your Instagram brand, and it's going to encourage followers to share photos that share that image. Hashtags need to be memorable, not just your brand name, and they need to make sense. They have to be short and simple, and you're going to have to research them to find out which ones work, which ones are people going to come after. They need to be relevant, and you want to use it in more places than just Instagram. Most importantly, you want to make sure that you're consistent in using it. Last week, I gave out a handout. I had provided a handout that gave you information about hashtags and which are the most popular hashtags, and most importantly, which are the hashtags that are banned by Instagram. So you know who your ideal customer is. You set your goals, you worked out a strategy, you have a calendar, you started putting up photos. So now what are you supposed to do? Well, you want to do some analytics. ICONOSQUARE, and no, they're not an affiliate, so that I'm not getting anything from encouraging you to use them, but they have great analytics that are going to tell you different things about your particular brand. It'll allow you to track follower growth, your top followers, any engagement that takes place on your photos, your posting history. An important one is the best time for you to be placing photos based on your followers. I'm going to go ahead and give you a few Instagram best practices. And you want to make sure that your brand is unique. Be sure to create your own brand and your own branded colors and fonts and things that make you uniquely different. So what is unique about your brand is going to be important on Instagram. A bank can't imitate Starbucks and expect to gain popularity. So find out what it is that your audience likes and build an Instagram account that caters to their interests and their exceptions. What is your story? Your story is part of what makes your brand. Part of what makes my brand is my journey with cancer. When I got my hair cut after 3 years of not cutting it and donated the hair for children with cancer, that photo was important. So was going to the hospital to have my port removed after 2 years of cancer. I had that port in my chest for 2 years, had to go once a month to have it flushed, and having that removed was extremely important to me. So we made sure that I believe that I did a video on that. So that was all part of my story, and that was part of the story that I included on Instagram. Tell your story with your caption. Now, Instagram is visual, and I emphasized that you want it to be short and sweet. But you also don't want to neglect that caption. This is still real estate. So even though Instagram's all about pictures, folks don't want to read a paragraph, you can still use a caption to expand on that or tie it back to your business. Instagram people love contests. They're huge on Instagram. Use that to your advantage. You can ask people to share or comment on your photo and give away a prize to those that share the most. You can ask users to use your hashtag when they post a photo. Many see these contests as a benefit of following a brand on Instagram. Try a contest, track the analytics, see how it benefits your brand, if it does. Collaborate. Go ahead and get together with other leaders or other influencers or another Instagram users. Ask them to take a look at your account for a day or so, and then ask them to share their thoughts on your particular brand. That would help your brand grow exponentially. Instagram now allows us to advertise. This was a marketing platform that was basically closed to marketers and slow to open. They went ahead and had 475 campaigns that were done, and then they did ad recall from all the sponsored posts. It was 2.9 times higher than what Nelson's norms are for online advertising. So as you can see, the results from that paid advertising was something that makes it definitely worth considering if you're able to afford that. So I hope that all of this was of some use for you and that it's helped you a bit. I want you to make sure that you get the handout. It's on Selling on Instagram. Make sure that you grab it. I broke it down into 3 distinct parts. Steps to ensure instant success, do's and don'ts of selling on Instagram, and effective selling strategies for selling on Instagram. A combination of all of these are going to give you some great ideas and help you to get going. Next week will be the last class, and I'll be covering growing your account. I look forward to hearing from you. Please comment. Let me know what you thought. Anything, questions that you might have, don't hesitate to contact me. Have a really blessed week. Bye-bye.